The Alchemist. Time to jump into one of the craziest paranormal experiences I've ever had. It all started when I was learning a lot about magic, as well as I was a hardcore Catholic at the time. So, I dived deep in on one end on learning about the faith, and then the other end I was jumping into magic. So I started to kind of have this lack of balance within my being, and it would also cause me to go to confession all the time and start disliking, not approving of myself, and kind of a hate towards myself. And I would obsess over individuals and have their thoughts about me control and dictate how I felt about myself. And as I started going down that path, I eventually got to a point where I really despised myself. And I yelled out to the universe, if anything wants to come take me or just attack me or anything like that, go for it. And I just yelled it out, not thinking much about it. And then as the following nights came, I just felt like I was always being watched at night, or I'd hear my window crack at 3 in the morning. And when I would look up at my bed, I could see black orbs flying around. And I was just always feeling like I was being stared at, and I couldn't sleep, and it kept going on for weeks and weeks and weeks. It started draining me. I started feeling kind of suicidal, couldn't think straight, started to hate myself more. And I knew something had attached, or at least been following me. I didn't know what it was. And one night I was just laying, trying to sleep. I just kept feeling like something was standing, looking at me. And so I turned over, and in this white robe, I don't know if anyone's ever played the game Fear or watched the movie Grudge. I've actually not seen the movie Grudge, and I barely played the game Fear, but from what I've seen of those, it's the best way to describe it. I saw this girl standing next to my bed in this white gown, this black hair over her eyes, and she was just staring at me, and I immediately froze. I couldn't move. I couldn't move at all. And then I flipped over after I was paralyzed for a few seconds and hid underneath the blankets till dawn. And I didn't know what to do. It was the most terrifying instance I've ever had. And I tried to ignore it, and I couldn't really sleep without lights on at night. And even then, it wasn't good enough. And I remember going on a walk with someone who I didn't know, who had a very deep spiritual presence and connection to their power. And they would tell me that they told me that they were feeling sick a lot when they were around me, and that they didn't know how to tell me this, but there was this girl attached to me, just holding on to me, just all on and draining. And it was the thing that caused me discomfort, and it just brought to life the reality that there was something there, and there was something attached to me. And I even had one of my close friends, because I'd hang out with friends 24/7 because I didn't want to be in my house to go to sleep alone. I needed to have someone in the same room, just hanging out constantly, and just so I could ignore the issue. And one of the nights, my friend woke up, and he said in his dream, he saw this girl, and he didn't know anything about it. And we went on a drive once, and he ended up just yelling at the top of his lungs, oh my God, there's this thing. And he said that when we were driving over this on this dark road, he looked out the window, and he just saw this girl looking into the car from out there. And it just all wrapped up and all came full circle and showing that there was a reality. I wasn't just seeing things. There was many things showing that was what was going on. And I ended up having to do a mini exorcism on myself. where I went to a church and I wrote down all the things I forgave myself for, and that I love myself and deserve and will have divine protection. And I ended up burning that paper after I was done, and just banished the being. And I ended up, as the weeks would go on after I did this, I started to love myself and started caring about myself. I could finally sleep again. And the experience itself was one of the most life-changing experiences I've ever had, because I beforehand would read about exorcisms and read about spells and spirits and all that stuff. But then I had to dive in face first and then overcome a battle myself. And that in turn brought me to many people in my life who just so happens, coincidence, whatever you may say, that had spiritual issues, and I was able to help them out. And now I'm an exorcist. I performed many exorcisms as well as banishings, and it really helped build my character. But it's something I'll never forget. It was the scariest paranormal experience I've ever had. And hopefully never have to have any more crazy ones like that, because I tell every spirit, I love my sleep. Don't wake me up unless it's really, 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 really important. So make sure you love yourself and don't just jump into doing stuff unprotected, because that's where the most consequences come. L the Alchemist, signing off.